AstroDetectives. This is the show where we try to match our guests to their correct astrological birth chart. As always, we have two charts to choose from, and today our guest is either an Aquarius or a Virgo, and our hosts are either an Aquarius or Virgo. So it's like a double game. You guess which one we are, and you also guess which one belongs to our guest. I'm Scott, a skeptic of astrology, and I'm joined by my co-host and professional astrologer, Sarah Hartshorn. Sarah, you wouldn't happen to have a favorite between an Aquarius and a Virgo, would you? You wouldn't be leaning one way or the other as far as which one you prefer?
No, because I'm both.
But I mean, I guess we're talking about the guest sun sign. But yes, you're saying you have one in your big three in both, but either of us is a sun sign, one or the other.
You mean as far as the case goes?
Oh, well, strategy-wise, who knows who they are, but you could probably empathize with a Virgo,
Virgo's
right?
rule.
More.
Yeah.
All right. That's all I was going for.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, the differences, I guess, between these two, and then we can play them out because I have an Aquarius sun, Sarah has a Virgo sun. Granted, we have the other sign in our big three as well.
Yes.
But let's just talk about sun stuff right now. What's the Virgo Aquarius differences here?
Okay. Yeah, sure. So, all right, we'll start with Virgo. So, Virgo is an earth sign. It's very much about the material world, very practical. It loves to be helpful, of service to someone. How can I help? Showing up and collecting useful skills, very much about the details. They can be a little nitpicky and critical.
Yeah, they can.
Well, you're a Virgo rising, so right back at you. They're just because they have like this zoomed in lens, so they want to make things better. They want to perfect things, but sometimes that can be to their own detriment. It's hard to turn that lens off. So,
speaking of zoomed in lenses, I'm trying something new on Zoom where the camera follows me. If I move, it will zoom over to the side and recenter me each time.
Oh, okay.
Because most of the time I'm way back in the background.
Oh.
So viewers can actually see my face now instead of like this wide angle of Scott from the back of the room.
Oh, good. Yeah, okay. I always
let me see if it goes up. It doesn't go up. It just goes side to side, I guess.
Okay. Well, try not to,
I'll try not to have such good posture.
Okay.
All
All
right.
right. So Aquarians. Aquarians are totally different from Virgo. Aquarius is
Arguably the best sign.
of
Arguably.
course. That's a very Aquarian feeling, yeah. But Aquarians are they're an air sign. So they're more about the communication realm. They're all about ideas and thoughts and innovative ideas. And they are really interested in humanitarian ideals. They're very idealistic to the point where they can become pessimistic, because they want the ideal and they're let down that the ideal is not always reality. It's very much an unconventional sign. It's about if everyone's doing this, I'm going to do that. Kind of likes to stand out for their uniqueness. Very much about freedom, give me my freedom. And they're also associated with being, it's a very genius sign, I will say. Because we would say it's the higher octave of Mercury. Mercury is thought and thinking, and then, Uranus is associated with Aquarius, and it's kind of like a genius, uh, association. So,
All
anyway,
right.
yeah, they're very future oriented too. So,
Always looking to the future.
Mm-hmm,
I'm at my
yeah.
most Virgo when I am. What do I organize? Oh, my finances. Oh my God. I'm at my most Virgo when I'm looking at incoming, outgoing finances and moving money around and looking at percentages of return on investments and just like tracking all of that I know that's Capricorn-ish, but I'm talking about it from my little detail-oriented Virgo-ness, and
Mhm.
my Aquarius side occasionally goes out to protest. But boy, I've been a bad protester this last year or two.
Scott, you are also very like concerned about humanity and the environment. One time I was letting the water run and you're like, "What are you doing?" You're very like always wanting, and you're very political, and that's definitely an Aquarian is going to be naturally drawn to politics because of the, humanitarian aspect and communications and things like that. Um,
Definitely been pulling back politically, though. I've been like, you guys want this? All right. I'm just going to do my thing, try and spread a little positivity in my corner. And if you guys want this, you guys can have this.
yeah.
What about you, Sarah? Any like activity where you're thinking, oh, I'm especially being a Virgo right now when I'm doing this activity?
Oh my God, I love a checklist or a task. I'm
Yeah,
just on the ball. Like anytime I have to like pack for a trip, I make a checklist and I love crossing something off that checklist. Like,
satisfaction.
step one, make a checklist.
Boom, done.
Yes. And I'm very Aquarian, as Aquarius rising is very much about how you, your body, how you present. For when I've always battling frizzy hair, which is a very Aquarius rising thing, but I also really just like looking unique or different. If there's like everyone's like, well, let's all wear the same t-shirt, I just don't want to do it. I have to look my own style.
Oh, Sarah would not be happy in one of those prep schools with
No,
uniforms. That'd be terrible.
I hate it.
Well, a lot of our viewers and listeners want to go deeper than just sun signs. They want to have the full charts in front of them. What are they going to do about that?
Put a little sass on it, Scott. Yeah. Listeners, you should, first of all, sign up for our Patreon, because we will give you access to the full charts. You can get the birth data and all that kind of stuff, so you can plug and play into your favorite chart system.
If you're
But
at detective level, you got to
yes.
be a real detective, not just one of these free members or these dollar members.
Okay, we appreciate our free members and dollar
We
members
do.
too.
We do. They're great. We appreciate that you're supporting the show. But what's $3? What's $3 a month?
True. And but if you do want to just get the charts for free, you can go to astrodetectivespod.com and grab them there in either Holstein or Placidus.
We're one of those degree mills. Like if you give us $3 a month, you're instantly a detective.
Yeah. Detective school.
You don't even have to go to class or anything. You're just an honorary detective
It's a good sales pitch.
getting access to the case files and everything.
Yeah.
Well, what are they
Well,
going to find in those case files for this case? We got the big three of each one of them.
yeah. So our Virgo sun is a Sagittarius rising with a Scorpio moon conjunct Saturn in the 12th house. And their ascendant is ruled by Jupiter and Aquarius. So both of these charts have a little bit of an Aquarian vibe to them. And they also have Uranus on their ascendant, so a little bit of a rebel there. And then our Aquarian has their moon in Gemini and their Gemini rising. So they have their moon in the first house. They have Chiron there too. And yeah, their chart is ruled by Mercury in Capricorn in the eighth. Of course, I'm reading whole sign, everybody. So if you read Placidus, it might be a little bit different. But yeah, so like the main thing that stands out to me here, pretty strikingly, is their moon signs. One has a Gemini moon in the first house. Moons in the first house tend to, more wear their emotions on their sleeve or speak their mind or their heart. Especially in Gemini, that is a chatty moon. I know a lot of Gemini moons, and they have a lot to say, and they can be a little bit of a rambler. Um, and then we've got a Scorpio moon in this 12th house conjunct Saturn. That's boom, boom, boom. Like those are three things, doubling, tripling down on keeping those emotions private and their inner self private. That's secrets. So either they're gonna tell us everything, or they're gonna be a little bit of a mystery, a little
Oh,
guarded.
great. Well,
Yeah.
for the purposes of this show, I hope they tell us everything, in which case they are which one?
Yeah.
Which one is the tell us everything?
Oh, that's our Aquarian.
Great.
The
We're rooting for
double
the Aquarian because the other one might be a difficult interview.
the the Aquarian is a triple air sign. They're gonna have a lot to say, probably. We might have to rein it in if they're going on 5 minute answers. But yeah, our Scorpio moon might be, it doesn't mean they won't be chatty. They have Mercury and Virgo, but they might not be as they might anyway, how they deal with emotions is the key.
All right. An Aquarius versus a Virgo. We'll see which one belongs to our guest. We'll see which of our two hosts, an Aquarius and a Virgo, gets it right. Maybe both, maybe neither. We'll see if you get it right at home. So grab those charts off the website or from your email inbox if you're an honorary detective. And we'll be back with our guest right after this. Hey listeners, we're not just a podcast that tests astrology, we're an independent detective agency. That means we rely on you to help us keep the show running.
Exactly. By joining AstroDetectives on Patreon, you can support our mission to finally prove astrology is real.
Or, completely debunk it.
Here we go again.
One thing we can agree on, AstroDetectives is the only place you'll find astrologers and skeptics working together, like a buddy cop movie you didn't know you needed.
And trust me, detective work takes time, gathering evidence, late night stakeouts, solving cases, especially when Mercury's retrograde.
Okay, you can't blame Mercury.
The first step is easy and free. Just follow Astro Detectives on Patreon to get access to our debrief episodes where the conversation continues after each case ends. We break down what went right and what went wrong.
And if you want to fast track your training, become a rookie detective for only $3 a month. You'll unlock exclusive bonus episodes, plus early releases and the top secret case files sent straight to your inbox.
Or for just $1 a month, we'll make you an Astro intern. No compensation per se, but hey, you'll gain valuable detective experience and that warm fuzzy feeling knowing you're helping us keep the lights on.
So if you like what we're doing and want to support us, head over to patreon.com/astrodetectives and join the investigation today. Welcome back, everybody. We are back with our guest, Michelle. Welcome to Astro Detectives.
Hello, I'm excited to be here.
We're very excited to have you. Where are you joining us from?
From north of Seattle, a small town called Bellingham. That's right by the Canadian border and the coast. It's lovely.
What made you choose Bellingham?
Because I grew up and lived in Texas for 39 years, and I don't know if you've heard, it is very hot there. So I also work in politics. So moving to Washington was helpful for that. It started to feel a little, not fun, but yes, quite not fun. So we thought, where should we go? And I've always wanted to live by mountains, and I hate being hot all the time. So it's wonderful. There was like a heat wave alert last August because it got up to 79 degrees. Wonderful.
Well, you mentioned a little bit about your working in politics. Can you talk a little bit about your job and maybe what got you into it?
Sure. I did not start out that way. I grew up very, very conservative, very small town. And I had planned on going into the ministry and had started that process in high school. And once I kind of got into college, started realizing oh, maybe that's not what I want to do. But all I knew was working in churches. I had internships there all the time. during the summers. And so I worked as a youth director for a long time. And then it got less fun doing lock-ins because I was an adult and tired. I did not want to stay up for 24 hours with like 50 kids on energy drinks. That was just not the vibe anymore. So I took some odd jobs in between, like did some journalism, had a weird side project of working for a transcription company. That was fun. Copywriting accidentally. I was supposed to stay home with my son, and I did. I just accidentally realized I started a company. It's like told my husband that people seem to keep paying me to do their websites and give them branding advice. Maybe I should like do this. So I did that for a while, and then in 2018, I'd always been like pretty politically active after I went to college and like got married. But there's not much to do if you're a Democrat in Texas, especially at that time. And so
You just try not to lose by too much, like hit the
yeah,
margins.
you're just like, I'm gonna vote. And if I'm feeling really spicy, I might tell one of my friends that I'm not a Republican. You just kind of had to keep it. But in 2018, Beto O'Rourke ran for Senate in Texas, and we had moved up to Austin by that time. And I was like, I'll try this out. Like, this might be my only shot ever. And so I started out working there as just like a field organizer and then got brought into special projects and worked in like training volunteers and teaching them how to speak about their values in a way that you could build consensus around. And really, I was like, is this what a job is? This is great. And so I worked on that campaign, and then it was off, and I worked for larger and larger campaigns and started specializing in relational organizing, which is like, how do you help normal everyday people like talk to people in their own network already instead of just giving them a list of doors to knock. And it's really my passion, and I love doing it. And so it's an election year, so I will be starting pretty soon.
One thing early that you mentioned was that you were formerly conservative. And I was wondering if you could talk a little bit about that transformation and then, maybe how it applies to how you're able to do your work today, maybe more effectively coming from that background. But maybe
I think it
what led
absolutely
to
is.
that? Like what led to that jump? Because that's a big change to
Yeah.
make.
I mean, I was like on early message boards when I was in high school. I graduated in 2003. And so I like was at church more days of the week than I was at home. My mom started like she joined and she's a pastor now. And that's just what life was. I'm an only child. My parents are divorced, so she drugged me to all of these things. So I kind of started parroting what I heard. And I was like on a message board, like trying to nicely explain to someone that they were going to hell because they were gay. And immediately when I went to college and I met gay people, it did not seem like they were how my church had described them. There was just this huge like dissonance between what they had told me, which was that like you're like if you meet a gay person, they're going to want to try to get you to be bad and sin so that they feel more comfortable being sinners. But that didn't really hold up with my choir director. He seemed much more concerned about maybe like singing the right pitch. Like choir director Joey was pretty chill. And so I started just having these experiences where what I was told about the world around me didn't match up to my actual experience. And I like still worked, I did summer internships and stuff, but when I was working with youth, like teenagers, they'd ask me a question, and I don't like lying. I think it's rude and not nice to do, especially when you're in a position of power. And so for me, like they don't have a filter. They're going to be like, what do you think about this? And if you say the pat answer, they ask follow-ups, so many follow-ups. And so as I like spoke with these youth, like I had to figure out, what do I really believe? Like I didn't get to just like put it off until a different time. Um, like, oh, I'll figure that out later in life. I really cared about doing my job with integrity. And through like further studying scripture, through figuring out what does that look like for real, not what does religion look like for real? Like, what is the earliest thing that we can think of? Like, be like Jesus was how it started. So, like, let's just start there. And like, as that kind of shift happened, I started to look at society around me in a very different way of not us versus them as like a political identity, but politics as like a social action in the world around you, like that intersects with your morality, your values. And because I had to really dig into that process, I I think I had to come to a more articulate way of speaking about things like political things, the way we order society together. I had to learn how to talk to people that were all the way over here and all the way over here and try to bring them together um, in a way that I believed was a better example of like actual kindness, actual like caring and community. And so I got to be the Republican whisperer. That's like what I ended up doing at campaigns, was working for really liberal people and showing them like, you can organize in Texas. Like you can. You just have to not write people off because you think and you assume that their identities mean they're going to believe a specific thing politically. So yeah, it absolutely was the way that I jumped in to organizing and went from one campaign to like I leveled up real fast. And I think it's because of that in-depth experience I had, like being faced so strongly with, oh God, all the stuff that I thought was the bedrock of society might not necessarily be how it was described to me.
So it sounds like sort of coalition building and maybe finding common ground.
Yeah.
Like, do you throughout your life, maybe not just in career, but is that a common theme? Do you like, if there's two people in an argument, you want to kind of mediate?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Absolutely. I have, I don't know, it's just a pattern that kind of keeps repeating where I have relationships with people and I'm just like happen to be in the position of the mediator. Like I was in a band in college and after college for a while, and it was like four guys and me, and I was just always trying to like keep these boys like from arguing, from like yelling at each other, like trying, okay, so what you're not hearing about this one, it's like translating. Um, and so, yeah, like one of the big things in my shift into understanding like mission work and how it differs from helping in communities, I literally stayed at like a communist collective after Hurricane Katrina in New Orleans, and it was literally called Common Ground Collective. Like you had to go to these evening classes where they talked about like the theories of organizing. And I think just from that kind of training of being very articulate and purposeful with communication bleeds out everywhere. Like I'm the person in my friend group that gets called when something really bad happens.
So do you not try to rock the boat? You like to kind of like, let's work within the system and make incremental change together? Or how does that strike you when I say that?
So this has like been something that's come up with friends of mine that like, so for the 2020 primary field. There were like 20 Democrats running. So like you could like pick your flavor. And I worked with what a lot of people perceived as a pretty mainstream liberal, like middle of the road, Pete Buttigieg. Everybody loved Pete. He was nice. And they would ask me like, well, why are you okay working for someone who's like on the conservative wing of the party? And I was like, first of all, that's not what his policy is. And second of all, like, I am extremely leftist in my like organizing theory beliefs and what policies I would love to see. But I feel like I have to balance that with being realistic enough to know that you have to work towards where you're going. And so I think I like had that pause when you said that, because I often am much more internally like, fuck the man. And I have that like, we have to break things in order to find where we're going. But I do get feedback that I'm perceived as like just being slow and steady and just waiting, but really I want to blow shit up. And so, yeah, I think that would explain.
That's one of our questions that we ask sometimes, is how friends would describe you. So they would describe you as slow and steady, even though in your heart you feel like you have more of a break things to build.
I would say that would be the line between like an acquaintance or like a friend and a close friend. Like once you know me enough to be a close friend, you're like, oh, you hear me speak in a more unguarded manner. You spend time with me. Like I get comfortable enough to like speak openly, because I don't know. I feel like I'm pretty much in a lot of my like close relationships focused on like how I can help that other person. And so I'll share enough about myself in order to make them comfortable, but that's not necessarily like an unvarnished like look into like everything I think and feel.
And have you always kind of felt like that? Or as a kid, you know, maybe what were you like as a kid, and how have you changed maybe over the years? And how are you the same?
Yeah, as a kid, I was an only child, and I was an only grandchild on my mom's side of the family, which is the city I lived in. And until I was like 11, something like that. So I never thought I was a child. I just felt really annoyed when people would treat me differently than adults. Like being put on my dad's like bigger family, like visiting for Thanksgiving, I'd be put at the kids' table, and I'm like, what am I going to talk to them about? Like, we're not reading the same things. So I was very studious. I was very outgoing, creative. I wasn't sporty, but all of the arts I was doing. And I also loved debate a whole lot, which I still love a whole lot. And so I think, I think I am more guarded than I was as a kid, just from learning that, experiencing that, like, sometimes people mistake kindness for weakness. And I've been burned by that. And that's created a more guarded display of who I really am. I'm pickier about who I trust with that.
And you did mention on your survey that you still have a large social, like, kind of group around you, feel very comfortable in rooms where maybe you don't know anybody. Can you kind of help us balance that with kind of not being too sure about the stranger and how vulnerable you want to be?
I mean,
kind of having guard up can sometimes keep people from having a large circle.
yeah, I think it's less like having a guard up, but being very comfortable with a specific sliver of vulnerability. Like, I think being able to walk into a room, and I'm very comfortable and brave enough to walk up to a stranger to say, like, the 3 things about myself that, you know, people need to know in order to have an idea of who I am.
What are those 3 things, just real quick?
Well, like, I I work in politics, and so like the quick like, hey, how are so our kids are in school together. Well, what do you do? I have to say I work in politics, and that kind of is like the one thing you're not supposed to say and talk about like right off the bat. So by answering, it's always like really, I'm never gonna know if somebody is going to like assume which party I'm in, which like type of political work I do. So, like coming out straightforwardly and being like, hi, I work in politics, it's a weird thing to say when you first meet someone, but I'm not crazy. I'm comfortable doing that. That tends to break the ice. But there are very specific things that I would hold back just for close friends. Um, I would say I'm gregarious. I am comfortable being vulnerable up to a point. And then past that point, it's a smaller circle of people.
You mentioned that you had been burned before. Can you kind of talk about if things happen in life that are just disappointing or frustrating, or what is your internal reaction? Like, is it how do you deal, I guess, with negative feelings or bad times?
Bad times. I find that I'll just get like a general like I become annoyed. And sometimes it's really hard for me to like put my finger on why. Like, okay, I'm really bitchy today. Everything's making me mad. So like what could that be? And it's taken a lot of focus and like experience of dealing with that dynamic to where I can break it down to, okay, I am feeling X emotion. Um, my usual pattern in the past was kind of like thinking my feelings, if that makes any sense. Like, I was really good at talking about how I felt, of gaming out why I felt that way and what I might should do. Um, but I've brought into my life more practice of like sitting with the feeling and actually like feeling it. And once that happens, I I always try to find where reconciliation could happen. That's always like if it's like a problem with a friend, I will try a million times to try to make it right. Because one of my very firm beliefs is that everybody is doing the best they can with what they have. And I could experience something that someone does in a way that they didn't intend, in a way that's informed by their trauma, or I react in the way I react because of something that happened in my childhood or last week. And so I try to take some time and find clarity. Um, there comes to be a point where I felt I've done everything I can, and either it's starting to affect like my husband and my kid, or I can't see a way forward because the other person won't walk an inch towards me. And at that point, like I'll cut shit off. Like I'm done. I'm absolutely done. And like don't speak to you for years. Um, in those situations, sometimes reconciliation comes after like 10 years of not speaking to someone.
But the door's still open.
Yeah, and I always will be the one to take the first step. That's scary. That sucks. I feel like I'm pretty emotionally prepared to do that. To take the first step to say, what are we not getting together? Like, what are you hearing me say? What can I do? How do you see me in this situation? To try to find, even if reconciliation doesn't happen, I will grow as a person and I will be better for it.
we've gotten into a lot of things like areas that you are good at, like career wise and, relationships. Are there some areas where you feel like you struggle maybe more than an average person or more than people that you know, where like it's seems a little harder for me to do that thing than it does some of these other people?
Yeah. To me, routine is the worst thing in the world. I hate it. Um, like, why would I just like it doesn't feel like my day is full if I've just like done the things you have to do in a day. Like, I find I get bored more easily and more quickly. Always have 1,000 projects going on at once and like kind of need to pick one. Um, it's great because I have a million ideas of a million things that I want to do, but it's harder for me to like trim things back and find one thing to focus on. Um, Being really hopeful and optimistic, the newest thing that's popped up always seems like something I need to explore and like look through and see. But I don't know. I get trapped on side quests a lot.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, distractions. One more. I'm going to get into hobbies a little bit, then I'm going to turn it over to Sarah to ask some more specific, pointed questions based on what she's looking at. You did mention in your survey that you enjoy travel quite a bit. Can you talk a little bit about where that comes from, and then we'll get into some of your other interests?
Yeah, I like I said earlier, I grew up reading quite a lot. Um, and like my home life wasn't super great. My mom loved me and my family loved me, but my dad's kind of a piece of shit. Um, and so there was definitely, I lived in the small town that my mom wanted to get out of but didn't. And everything felt small around me. And my grandmother, who I'm very, very close to, she loves traveling. She is a music teacher who taught me music growing up. And so she would take me to the symphony, and then she would like tell me about this time in Paris when she was doing this or that. And it kind of became a goal of mine to like prove I had made it, I guess, a little bit, to be able to say, like, I got to a point where I could go and like see Rome. Um, I guess to like kind of set me apart from all of the people around me. I don't know. But there was also this like magic of experiencing things for real that you had just read about. I love looking at historical sites and art, and I'll go anywhere. I will try anything. Um, we've gone on some pretty crazy, crazy trips. Um, but there's just something about there's always more left to do. It always leaves you like learning something about yourself or about the people you're traveling with or about history. Like it's just like max input. And I love the people I meet too. Like I love traveling with my friends and my family. We probably do that a lot more than other people in their 40s do that have a kid. Um, like we'll get, whoever wants to go and just be like, all right, let's go on a cruise. Like, and, you know, it just seems like so many elements that combine in so many like chemical reactions of joy and awe and learning and connecting with people and the food. Food's important. Food's very important. Um, I don't know. It just feels like the ultimate, most like intense thing I can do with my free time.
Definitely. And is there anything that maybe we didn't get into that you feel like is a big part of your life? And that might include some other hobbies as well, but anything, an area that maybe really represents who you are that we didn't really talk about?
Um, I think I touched on it a bit, but my relationship with my dad has been just an absolute The best way I could put it is agent of change and growth, and also grief. Um, and it's formed me into the person I am now. My parents got divorced when I was really young. My dad was an alcoholic. I saw a lot of violence in the home. He left in the most horrible way on my birthday, just saying he was going to like get us a house and then just didn't show up for a while. Um,
Oh,
yeah, really sucked. I was 4, and like he said he was going to like the town that his parents lived in to buy us this nice house. But I walked back into the apartment and my mom's just like crying and watching TV, and I was like, that doesn't seem like the right reaction to that. Um, Something's up. I also like he was arrested and like I had to like stay. My mom told me I could have all my Halloween candy if I pretended to be asleep when my dad came in my room. And I remember just like closing my eyes because fuck yeah, candy. Um, but it's just an indelible moment of like seeing the police come and I could like see the reflection of the lights and he had to leave. And I didn't know what he was there like what he was in trouble for, and it turns out I found out as I grew up that he had been like a creepy phone guy. He would just like call random numbers and say horrible things, and then like he stalked a woman, and it sucked. Um, he got sober when I was like 10, but he just like switched it into being addicted to women. And so he's been married like 6 times. Um, and when I had my son, he's my son's 11 now. I had my son and my dad just didn't give a shit. It's not hard to be, I like knew you're not a great dad, but like maybe you could knock it out of the park with grandpa. Just show up occasionally. And he didn't and tried to introduce me to his new beloved. And I was like, I am fucking 30 something. Like, you have a grandchild. Like, I don't need another beloved. I don't need a new mommy. And I had like tried to confront him with like, maybe my kid's birthday party isn't where you should introduce your beloved to the entire family who also doesn't want to meet her because why? Um, and so I had given him chance after chance after chance, and he was lying to me about being on substances, and he was not safe for my kid to be around. And, you know, as a parent, you can like mess with me, but as soon as it affects my kid, like I couldn't keep myself safe from my dad dropping it out of my life, but I could protect my son from having a grandfather who did that. And so I stopped speaking to him, and about a year later, his beloved, so weird, um, let me know that he had early onset dementia. And so, and she was like, I'm fucking out. Like, I didn't sign up for this shit. I was like, good, smart. And so I drove to where he was living, met with her, and when we went to see my dad, he was in full-blown psychosis, like scary. Um, and had to get him admitted, and I had to like pick him up and drop him off at a facility. And so he no longer knows that he has a daughter or knows my name. Like he can't bathe himself anymore. Um, and my family very much wanted me to be the dutiful daughter and, pay for care. And he has taken enough. And I said, fuck no. Like, I'm not paying thousands of dollars that I could be saving for my kids' college. Like, you don't get to do that. And so one of his sisters is like spearheaded his care, and I still don't speak to him. And it really set like a very specific type of personality within me. I wanted to make my mother happy by like never doing anything bad ever. Um, and to be completely exactly what she wanted and expected me to be. Um, and I find myself making friends that then treat me like shit, and then I have to like stick up for myself and say, like, no, saying this to someone like that is not appropriate. Like, it taught me how to not crave acceptance from every single person because I knew like it's biologically impossible for my father and I to ever speak again. I'm never getting closure. Like his mind is already completely gone. And so what do you do with that? You know?
Yeah, I don't know. But boundaries, you were talking about them before, and it sounds
Yeah.
like that's an
Yeah.
area where, you've applied them.
And I've broken the pattern. Like my kid is growing up in a home with two parents that love him very much and put him at the head of their priority list. And so, like, that to me is the best thing that I could ever do is just break that cycle.
hmm Well, Sarah, we got a lot to work with so far.
Hmm.
Are there some
Yeah.
certain areas that maybe you want to get some clarity on before we make our decisions?
Yeah, I have a few questions. So Michelle, first of all, would you consider yourself to be a sensitive person?
Yes,
Okay. Do you tend to wear your emotions on your sleeve?
I cannot hide them. My
Okay.
husband laughs. Uh,
Okay.
we were at church once and they the youth pastor was giving the sermon and he was real like fake folksy, which irritated me in general. But was talking about for Father's Day, like how much it sucks to have to beat your children, but you have to. And I was like, excuse me? But I just did that all with my face. And my husband just looked over at me. He was like, can you make your face stop? Um, you scared him. I think he felt you look at him. And then he said one more goddamn thing. And I was like, fuck this. And I got up and left. And my husband was like, he texted me, are you coming back? I was like, absolutely not. Um, and so I just glared at that man. I never spoke to him about it, but I'm pretty sure he gets the idea.
Okay, good. Um, okay, what else did I? So I'm curious if you have any health issues that you'd be willing to share, and this could be anything from surgeries to car accidents to anything minor, like I twisted my ankle once or something like that.
Sure. I was in pretty good health until my pregnancy was very, very difficult. I ended up having a placenta previa and having to go on bed rest. And my son was born early and had to go to the NICU. And then I got an infection and like passed out at home and then had to go back to the hospital again. It was kind of a mess. Um, and since then, like developed lots of ovarian cysts, and I had to have both of them removed surgically a few years ago and just popped that uterus on out. I don't need her. Um, and like post-surgical stuff has come up with, bladder issues that, I mean, minor things. But I also have like really it's it's under control now, but it's quite shocking the first time I had a panic attack in my late 20s. And anxiety has been a real bitch. But like I found good medication that works. I was recently diagnosed as ADHD, which kind of explained a lot. Um, but more like the hyper focusing kind and less the fidgety have to run around everywhere kind, which is why it took so long. Um, yeah, when I mentioned earlier that I had to go like visit my dad and get him checked into a hospital because he was seeing things that weren't there. Uh, the night before, I had driven up to stay at a friend's beach house. It's like his parents had a beach house and it was close to where my dad was. And so I was traveling by myself and fell down a whole bunch of stairs and like woke up unconscious, like out. and like woke up in a pool of blood, which was concerning. And like didn't know where I was or what I was doing. I like put it together. It's like palm trees. I'm probably not home. And like ended up having like 15 staples sucked. Um,
Where did you get the staples in
in my
your
head.
head?
Mhm.
Okay. Okay. Wow. Um, do you, okay. Thank you for sharing all that. Do you leave your phone a lot behind, or do you like lose it or like lose things?
I have lost my phone while talking on it. Like
Okay.
walking around everywhere, talking on the phone to the person. I'm like, I can't find my phone. And they'll be like, well, you're talking on it, looking around.
Okay. Okay.
That's pretty typical.
Okay. Do you also sometimes like when you have to make a decision, are you the person that's like, oh, or we could do this, or we could do this? Do you like options and all this kind of
I
stuff?
do like options because it's hard for me to decide what I want to do, but easy to decide one thing I don't want to do. So, like, I'm pretty decisive if you just say, do you want to do this or this? I know what I want
Okay.
to do.
Okay.
Um, but I do like to give other people a ton of options.
How are you with time management?
After a lot of intensive work on it, really, really good at it now. Um, but um, that's with like literally using task management software and like bullet journaling and integrate it all into my calendar and in like an extensive alarm system. Um, so before I had learned all of those tactics, I was always late all the time. And just like would procrastinate and then be like, shit, it's due tomorrow. Oh, I work great under deadlines. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Let me see if I had any other questions. Here's one I always like to ask. Do you ever dress up for Halloween? And
Absolutely.
okay, give me some of your best
Okay,
costumes.
one year, I think this is my one of my best costumes that I made. My husband and I went on a bar crawl with all of our friends that we went on every year in Houston, and we were dead Jack and Jill post Hill. And so I got like I think it was like an Alice in Wonderland kind of costume. And then like just my husband was like, I'm not dressing up. He hates it. So I was like, okay, you don't want a costume? Great. No costume. Um, and then I got a plastic bucket and wrapped foil, like broke it in pieces and then wrapped foil to make them look like shards, and then created giant neck and head wounds with them sticking out of it, and then just splattered blood everywhere. It was awesome. Um, and then the other one that I liked a lot was my husband and I went as Sonny and Cher, except I was Sonny and he was Cher because he is very tall and statuesque. And I mean, I could look like Sonny Bono, I'm short. But I like tried to perfect the mannerisms. Like my husband said it was really off-putting just because I was like man spreading. I like used all of like my male cousins like body wash and cologne and like had age lines. I like stared at Sonny Bono and like drew each little line exactly where it should be. And then kept asking my husband if he wanted to sit on my lap sugar. And it was great.
That's awesome. I love the Jack and Jill costume. It also reminds me of your staircase incident.
Yes, yes. I have been at a Halloween party that was like my friends had started having kids, but like we didn't have kids yet. And like I forget what costume it was, but I definitely had to say it once, like, oh no, I think I got fake blood on your baby. Um, I thought it was going to be more blah, but it was less that, and I just wiped blood on children accidentally.
Okay. What are your pet peeves?
Um, oh. Bad grammar, don't like it. I have a deep dislike of people trying to seem smarter than they are. Like trying to use fancier language and vocabulary, and you can tell that it's like just a slight bit off. Very, very annoying to me. And I'm also like very particular about like my things. Like I like nice versions, like elevated basics, or like I'll invest in that. So like there's rules, like certain things you can't do with mommy if mommy's wearing cashmere. Like we don't do that. So like just people like touching my things and moving them, I don't like. I don't like that at all.
Okay. Um, sorry, I had one. Oh, um, yeah, I think that's. I have more questions I could ask, but I feel comfortable at at a stopping point now.
Okay.
So
We've got the information we need. This is that magical time where I actually put you back in the waiting room. We have a little huddle and kind of compare notes, and then we make our choices, and then we're going to bring you back in, find out if we were right.
Amazing.
Awesome. Okay.
Okay,
Then
throw me away.
you get a little bit of a break, and then we'll see you back here in a couple minutes.
Awesome.
All right, cool. If I can find the right button. Okay, Sarah. What do we got here? Do we have an Aquarius? Do we have a Virgo?
yeah, I feel good. I mean, yeah, she said some things that made me smile, made me think of one of the charts. So I definitely feel more confident than last time. Last time I didn't feel prepared. I was all over the place. So hopefully, yeah.
I could make a case for both of them, but I do feel like if I was just leaning into trying to guess based on her personality and what she was saying, I have my guess. Yeah.
Okay.
I do look at the big three. I'm not looking at any houses or anything else, but it's hard to keep it to just sun sign when you have like
Tell me about it.
yeah. Well, because usually you'll pick up personality traits if you have three things to look at. But if you just have one thing to look at, it's really hard to make someone like fit in this one category, which is why I think they have additional. You don't like your sun sign. Well, guess what? We got two more to look for some traits that you might have.
Okay.
So I definitely was finding some stuff from her when looking at the big three.
All right.
You got your card ready?
I got my card ready.
Well then, how about a 1, 2, 3, Aquarius?
Aquarius.
Yeah.
All right.
And we're mainly leaning into the Gemini moon and rising, right?
Oh, that Gemini. There was so many things. There
Okay.
were so many things.
Yeah. And then she was like literally talking about deep down I want to burn it down and start over. Revolution type of talk.
Oh,
So
okay. I might have missed that line.
it was towards the beginning when she was talking about the politics. Yeah.
The line I bolded was, I think about my feelings. I can talk about why I feel that way, but learning to sit with them. And Gemini moon, it's very cerebral. It can think about their feelings, but it's like, but actually, yeah, that's how they easily connect with their feelings, is just to talk about them and think about them. But actually, like maybe it's a little more work to just sit there and feel them. And I mean, the Scorpio moon, I mean, is just, I always get excited when I see that in one of the charts, just because.
You want them to be a Scorpio moon
No, I
because
don't
it'll be interesting.
No, it's usually just such a unique flavor, and I have that one, so I know how to spot it. I know what the issues are and to look for. And so it really stands out from all the other moons.
Well, all right, let's take a little break. And right after this, we're going to have Michelle tell us, is she the Virgo or the Aquarius? Right after this. Hey, listeners, we're not just a podcast that tests astrology, we're an independent detective agency. That means we rely on you to help us keep the show running.
Exactly. By joining AstroDetectives on Patreon, you can support our mission to finally prove astrology is real.
Or, completely debunk it.
Here we go again.
One thing we can agree on, AstroDetectives is the only place you'll find astrologers and skeptics working together, like a buddy cop movie you didn't know you needed.
And trust me, detective work takes time, gathering evidence, late night stakeouts, solving cases, especially when Mercury's retrograde.
Okay, you can't blame Mercury.
The first step is easy and free. Just follow Astro Detectives on Patreon to get access to our debrief episodes where the conversation continues after each case ends. We break down what went right and what went wrong.
And if you want to fast track your training, become a rookie detective for only $3 a month. You'll unlock exclusive bonus episodes, plus early releases and the top secret case files sent straight to your inbox.
Or for just $1 a month, we'll make you an Astro intern. No compensation per se, but hey, you'll gain valuable detective experience and that warm fuzzy feeling knowing you're helping us keep the lights on.
So if you like what we're doing and want to support us, head over to patreon.com/astrodetectives and join the investigation today. Welcome back, everybody. The choices are in, and we're joined with Michelle again to let us know if we were right. Sarah, you wanted to say something?
Yeah, I have one question. Michelle, did I notice that were you just knitting?
Crocheting.
Crocheting?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know the difference, but
do you like to keep your hands busy? Is that
Yes. Well, I just have to be doing something, or preferably two things at once.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
does that help you? Sarah, does that go along with your choice, or are you wanting to rethink everything?
Yeah,
the drawing board. You're going back in the waiting room. We need to talk about this crocheting. I mean, my choice based on knitting, and it's different.
No, it's just like I thought it was fascinating and I wanted to see if that's what was going on. And it just makes me think like, oh yeah, remember to ask those kind of questions in the future, about their hands and things.
I never know like those type of questions and how they would steer someone. Michelle, we were choosing between an Aquarius and a Virgo sun sign.
Okay.
So hopefully you're one of those.
I am.
Excellent. All right. We're off to a good start. So yes, Sarah and I are on the same page. We chose the same chart. So we're hoping it's right. Michelle, this is where we find out.
Is there a drum roll sound effect? Because you really should have one.
Oh, don't egg him on.
We used to have a sad trombone for misses and a big like ta-da when things got right. But the editing budget on this show is pretty minimal until we get at least a few more Patreon subscribers. No sound effects for you guys. Enough of delaying it. All right. Michelle, are you an Aquarius?
I am indeed.
All right,
Yay!
There we go. Oh, my camera like zoomed in and out like it was exciting too.
I thought that was you moving backward. Okay,
no,
that's funny.
This is me moving backward. And then it's gonna zoom in on me, and then I can move forward again.
Okay.
I don't know if anybody else has noticed that on Zoom you can literally change your camera to auto frame my video, and I'm having fun with that today. Although it's pretty distracting when I just start sliding across the screen during an interview.
I mean, but good for you.
When it's repositioning. Yeah. Well, and you're going to stick around for the debrief. So
absolutely.
Awesome. Our listeners have that to look forward to. Before we close out, is there any place that you would want to send our listeners or anything you would like to plug or leave our audience with?
I would always love to give a plug for finding your local mutual aid networks and plugging into that and find out where what you have to offer can be used by the community around you. A nice way to find them sometimes is just to go to the Reddit subreddit for your city and just ask someone what's the mutual aid network. They're decentralized so that they can be nimble and helpful to their specific communities. So yeah, get plugged in. You have something to give that somebody else needs.
Beautiful. Well, that's it, everyone. Let us know what you thought by commenting on whatever platform you follow us on. Links to our accounts are in the show notes. As always, thanks to Mike, our IT guy, and his random chartifier thingy for helping us out this week. If you like the show and want to support it, you can visit patreon.com/AstroDetectives, where this conversation continues on the free Patreon-only debrief. Don't forget to subscribe on your favorite podcast platform or YouTube so you don't miss the next episode. Rate and review and tell your friends. And until next time, this case is closed.